Welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time. Thank you, as always, for your question. Where are you looking, Gab? I feel like you're looking around there. Something's going on in your background. Is everything all right?
I was just expecting the music to come in. I like to bounce along to the music, as you know, but it didn't come through in my ear.
Oh, no, it is there. It is there. A couple of bits of business. Okay. Thank you, everyone. A lot of people have sent me Jamie Carragher's best ever Liverpool side because it includes...
I'm going to get Stevie Nicol.
Stevie Nicol, yes, left back. Thank you. So loads of people have sent me that. But then someone else sent me a starting 11 that you're in, Shaka. Have you seen this?
No.
Oh. So Peter Crouch on his podcast did a best swimmers 11.
Best swimmers.
So like Lewis Dunk.
Right.
Jermaine Defloat. Robbie Towler. So what is Shaka?
Splasher.
No. What?
Splasher Hislop? I don't know.
I like Splasher Hislop.
I don't know.
Any contributions, Elliot?
Why not? Splasher.
Yep. Oh, well, Splasher's actually better. It was, in fact, Shaka Flip-Flop. Yes.
Splasher is so much better. I should have gone with Splasher.
Splasher Hislop.
Should have gone with Splasher.
There's Splasher. There we go. Oh, no. Here we go.
Oh, here we go.
Shaka.
Yeah?
How do you feel about David Raya now, considering you still think Ramsdale is the better goalkeeper?
I think David Raya has been outstanding this season.
So were you wrong?
No, I still think Ramsey is a better goalie.
Stubborn, Shaka. This is Messi all over again.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Let's not get to that. Messi's at a different level.
Ramsdale struggled at Southampton, though, hasn't he?
Yeah, Southampton, no anybody.
But if you're such a good goalkeeper, you should help.
What?
You should be able to help the side.
Anybody struggle at Southampton.
Right, I see.
That's just perfect.
So what would David Raya have to do to prove to you that he's a better goalkeeper?
I keep this run going. Listen, I have to admit, he's been really good this season. Really has spirit confidence.
Yes.
I'm still not convinced of how strong he is with crosses and aerially, but then this Arsenal defence doesn't allow him to get exposed. But he's playing with confidence. He's playing with confidence, and he has a presence about him that I didn't see last season.
But if they're both up against the wall, you're picking Ramsdale for your team first.
What they do it up against the wall?
Well, it's playground.
Oh, okay.
Pick-up game, isn't it?
Yeah. Still.
That's the least convincing yes. Come on, Splasher.
I admit, it's a rocky year. It's a wobbly year. It's a wobbly year. I admit.
I wouldn't want
Shaka Flip-Flop right
it's a wobbly
I wouldn't want you as my character witness. Let's be honest.
You would break it under
You
cross-examination.
better not call me if you're in trouble.
Now, Gab, if Barcelona shares were traded on the stock market, are you selling, holding, or buying after today's Champions League loss?
So if you're talking about, well, I'm assuming you're not talking shares on the balance sheet and
No, we're not talking levers. No levers.
FFP and all that stuff. You're talking about football.
Yeah.
Look, you lose a man after 10 minutes. Obviously, that's going to affect you. I thought they showed a good reaction. Monaco are a good side, but I mean, it's a big ask to play 80 minutes with one man fewer. And of course, remember, they already have so many starters who are injured or unavailable, from Dani Olmo to obviously Gavi and Frankie de Jong on their way back. But I think given the circumstances, it doesn't change. I think I put more stock in the first 4 or 5 games of the season in the Liga under Hansi Flick.
Now, we talked about this quite a lot, didn't we, during the show, given Ter Stegen's 2 big mistakes today. For Ali, do you think Barcelona should have signed a goalkeeper that could challenge Ter Stegen in the last 2 or 3 years? Besides his mistake tonight, he's been the main reason of many losses in the Champions League. He has conceded 99 goals in 85 games. That's outrageous. Before I get to you, Gab, are you all right?
Listen, you're entitled to your own opinions, you're entitled to your own facts. Maybe it is a fact, 99 goals in 85 games. I don't know how far back that goes, but to question Marc-Andre Ter Stegen, yes, he made mistakes tonight, he's made mistakes in the past, he'll make mistakes again, but I think he's also probably the main reason that they won the title 2 years ago under Xavi. So for me, he is, maybe he's not top 5 in the world, but he's definitely top 10. That's just me.
Okay.
And to follow up on what Gab was just saying there, when Barcelona won the title a couple of seasons ago, not only were we talking about Barcelona as a good defensive team, but a team that kept teams at 0 shutouts, winning 1-0. And big part of that was Ter Stegen, to the point to where Ter Stegen and Barcelona defensively were on a record-setting pace that season up until they won it, and then everybody just said, all right, this whole defending thing is a little overrated. So I don't think Ter Stegen is the main reason as to why Barcelona lose goals or give up goals, but they do need the best version of Ter Stegen, and we haven't seen that consistently as of late.
Here we go. This is always problems for Shaka.
Well,
I'm going to ask you about former games that you'll forget and not remember anything. This is
We were talking about one of my former games the other day, and Craig remembered more than me.
Well, yes. Yeah, I know, Shaka.
So maybe we should save this question for when Craig's on.
Right, Shaka, have you ever played with 10 men for over 80 minutes, and how did it pan out?
We played with 10 men. I remember playing with 10 men away to either Honduras or El Salvador, World Cup qualifying 2002. We won 1-0.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How long were you at 10 men for?
I think we had a man sent off after about 20 minutes, I think
Okay.
it was. And I think it was Honduras. They needed to... If they drew the game, they'd have qualified for the 2002 World Cup.
Okay.
And we won 1-0.
That was spoiling pies.
And it was kind of ugly for their players.
Right.
They clapped us. The fans clapped us off the pitch and allowed us to go home fine, no problems. They had to call rad police to get their own players off the pitch.
Blowing heck.
We were all right. So
Gab,
all right.
play, bench or drop, Florian Wirtz, Musiala, Lamine Yamal.
Man.
Ooh. This is a tough one. All right. I'm going to play Lamine Yamal just because. Yeah, and Ramsdale. No. I'm going to play Lamine Yamal just because the kid's 17 in a few days. The upside is just tremendous. I think I'm going to. All right. I think I'm going to. It's very close between the other two, but I would probably bench Wirtz and take him ahead of Musiala, simply because I think right now Wirtz is more direct and more consistent. I think Musiala still has to find his best position on the pitch. I don't think he was helped last year when he was on the wing and in the middle of the wing. But I mean, look, these three guys, we'll be talking about them for the next decade.
Gab, were you surprised that Roma sacked Rossi only 7 months in charge? Who do you think would be the best hire for them going forward? I'm guessing it could have been Pioli had he not signed for Al Nassr a day or two earlier.
No, it wouldn't have been Pioli because he was dying to work with Cristiano Ronaldo. I don't think that was an option. But when you sack a manager in September, it always means that you screwed up, always. And this means that the club, I think, screwed up badly. They screwed up even more with the fact that their transfers over the summer, they all came in at the very end of August, so he really had very little time to work with them. And then all of a sudden, you decide, oh, look, we don't like him anymore. The window's shut. Let's bring in a new coach in a situation where we can't bring any more players. Unless, of course, it's Anthony Martial because he doesn't have a team. This is ridiculous. This is not how you run a club. Daniele De Rossi, in terms of this season, Roma certainly haven't been playing well. They haven't won a game. They've also only lost one game so far out of 4. Make of that what you will. I suspect something might have happened behind the scenes, because if it hasn't, then really this makes zero sense. If you don't like De Rossi, then you don't reward him with a multi-year contract at the end of the season, and you let him go in the summer, because you already know what he is all about, and you know the kind of football he wants to play. And I think he had a lot of mitigating circumstances. I certainly would have stuck with him longer. I don't think Juric, who's taken over for him, has an easy task now, because a lot of these guys are guys who were bought to suit De Rossi's football, and while there are some common points with Juric, it's also different. So now he's in at the deep end. He's a good coach, but I don't think, again, unless there's something we don't know, this was bad for Roma. and bad for De Rossi. But you know what? Roma's owners, the Friedkins, people talk about stereotypical American owners caring about the bottom line and funds and blah, blah, blah. The Friedkins have nothing American about them in terms of that stereotype of the American owners. These guys lose money every year. They go and they spend, they chuck money around, they sack coaches, they fall in love with players. They basically act like Italian owners did back in the 1980s and 1990s.
Right, final question, the big one. Ali and Gab, which team should fans be worried about more at this moment, the Cowboys or the Eagles? So the Cowboys are 1-1 at the moment?
Yeah, 1-1, but they're 1-1s and then they're 1-1s.
Oh.
They won the first game against the Cleveland Browns away from home, and everybody was sort of getting carried away. The fact that the Cleveland Browns can't play offense, and now it became that the Cowboys' defense were amazing.
Oh.
And then they were not. Right. And when I mean they were not, if the Saints had continued to push forward, if the Saints had wanted to, they could have scored however many points they would have wanted against the Cowboys. And as a Cowboys fan, let me tell you, I'm not surprised, because this is what happens. This team elevates you, gets your hopes up, and then smashes you again and brings you back down. So I, as a Cowboys fan, will tell you that the Cowboys are in deeper trouble than the Eagles are.
But the Eagles have won one, lost one as well, Gab, yeah?
Can't believe I'm competing with Ali to decide which of our teams is more in the deep end. The Eagles are just infuriating. They add Saquon Barkley. They have all these attacking weapons, but there's these basic weird dysfunctions. Starting with the defensive line, where they added this guy named Huff from the Jets, who is absolutely atrocious. Honestly, they have the worst defensive ends out there, worst edge rushers out there. And then on top of that, and you know, we talked about coaches in European football. The Eagles have a coach in Nick Sirianni who doesn't call plays because they have this new offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, supposedly some kind of genius. He designs the game plans. He calls the plays. Sirianni doesn't even talk to the players, I don't think. He doesn't. All he does is seem to face the media. It feels weird and dysfunctional. It almost feels like, well, we were going to fire you, but instead of firing you, let's just leave you here and let's hire other people to do every aspect of your job. That's how it feels right now. Maybe I'll feel great if they beat the Saints this weekend, although given the way the Saints are going, I don't think that's going to happen. So, yeah, look, maybe it is the Cowboys are worse off right now, but we're a close second behind them.
Shaka. Splasha Hislop and Shaka flip-flop would have scored against the Cowboys last weekend.
Wow.
I don't know how to take that.
Right then, that's it. From Gab, Ali, and Splashy, we'll be back tomorrow for more to look ahead to Manchester City against Arsenal. Be sure to join us for that. Lots else going on as well, because we can't do the whole show on that. So there'll be other stuff as well.
Let's hope.